Here we are, Tim. It is a pleasure. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, brother.
So good to have you. What has been happening in your world?
This morning I was on my way to your house actually, and then I was like, cool, we're on Zoom. So now we're here and saved me the drive down south of the border. I nearly forgot my passport, so it would have been really hard to get down
Right, no kidding.
there.
Ways of the COVID world.
Yeah, everything's digital these days, but
hmm
thanks so much for having me and hoping I can give some value to the audience.
Yes, I'm looking forward to picking your mind. I was just speaking with Cam about you and what an inspiration you've been in his life. And yeah, I've been looking at what you've been up to and really an inspiration. I think a good start would be what brought you to where you are today? Can you compact your kind of journey of where you began and to where you're at with your approach and Helix Gym?
Awesome. Yeah, cool. So it's probably been like a 12-year journey in fitness, but I'm really going to condense that so we're not here forever and I'm not writing a 20,000 word essay.
Right.
But basically it started, I fell into fitness. I got a job. I had no qualifications and the boss was kind of like, yeah, you're good to go. So I started working in a gym, had no idea what I was doing, just absolutely crushing people on the gym floor.
Which gym?
It was Surge Fitness.
Okay.
So I was obviously training myself before that, but then got a job in Surge a few years later. And then from there, started a degree, did an undergrad in sports science, went on to do my master's in strength and conditioning. So it was like a 5.5 year, 6 year process there. It was quite long. Got a job in America. I was a strength and conditioning coach at the University of Arizona. And then, so I applied for 200 positions, got 3 positions in America, chose Arizona because it was hot. And that was basically the deciding factor on that. And they had pretty women as well in the sun. So, early 20s guy, just went over there, had a good time. And my family was having some issues with their health and the mental health specifically. My mother was diagnosed with depression and then she ended up trying to commit suicide twice. And I kind of asked myself, I was like, why does this happen? And then it led me on the path to look into it. And I was like, cool, social isolation is a big one. Poor health, lack of exercise, lack of community. They were the major ones that I was like, all right, maybe I could do something about this with others. And that kind of led me down the path of opening a gym, Helix Gym, which initially was in my parents' garage, funny enough. It was about 30 square meters. And then one day, one of my clients was like, you should open a real gym. And I was like, I should open a real gym. How am I going to do this? And then he was like, cool, I know a guy with some money you can borrow. So I borrowed 15K off another friend. Long story short, now we're in our current facility, about to go into our 4th facility. And the approach is movement, mindset, wellness, and nutrition. So in terms of nutrition stuff, I've learned a lot over the years. And I thought, is it a vegan thing? Is it a carnivore thing? Is it a, paleo, keto, whatever? And I was kind of like, there's different horses for different courses and different things are going to work for different people. And with science these days, having a science background, I was like, you can probably find some articles of science that's going to prove something is right, regardless of what area you want to go down. So let's just leave that individualized. As long as we're not eating shit, we're not eating sugar, we're not drinking booze. Obviously, it's everything in moderation, but everyone knows what's best for them. At the end of the day, most people have a concept of what they should be eating. So that would take care of the nutrition stuff. We guide people and help people with that as well. Then we go into the mindset and I'm like, what is good mindset? For me, and I asked myself that question about 3 years ago and I was like, the fuck do I know about mindset? So I went out and studied and I did the NLP, like the course, the 7-day one. And then I did the Master in NLP, which was a very long course. I had to fly to Adelaide for that twice for 2 separate weeks. And it was pretty intense. So I learned a lot about mindset. And after that, I kind of went into a deep dive on myself. And I was a bit lost for about 6 months after that. Because when you start learning about mindset, the universe and how things work, you start to question everything. And I was like, cool, I questioned my own existence for a period there. There was a couple of weeks there. I was like, am I even a person?
Right.
So that was the movement. That was the mindset and the nutrition. So I had some good components and some building blocks to build a proper system. I think a lot of the problems in fitness at the moment is it's just like it's a fitness solution. It's like stand on a treadmill, do some weights, do some bench press. Whereas like the holistic approach is what is going to change lives. So then after that, we've got the movement component. And then with the movement component, you've got Olympic lifting, you've got strength training, you've got bodybuilding, you've got handstands, you've got gymnastics, you've got the calisthenics, you've got yoga, you've got Zumba, you've got Pilates. There's so much to it. And I was like, what avenues of fitness will give my clients the greatest benefit to their mental state, their sense of growth, and how they perceive themselves, and their strength, because strength is one of my major things. So I thought Olympic lifting, powerlifting, some calisthenics are going to be highly beneficial because they think it's cool, it looks cool, it feels cool, and there's a bit of a sense of accomplishment when you when you achieve that. Is that all sitting with you? I've just talked
Totally.
a lot.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
loving it. And I can feel a lot of parallels in my journey as well. And one of my questions was going to be like, what sets your gym, Helix Gym, apart from most gyms? And when I was on your podcast, I was sharing of the gaps I was seeing in the fitness industry when I was doing PT and when I was in gyms. And at the time, I wasn't seeing, I think, what you've created as a gym. That I wasn't seeing that. And that's what took me down the yoga avenue, which is what appealed to me in terms of the mental aspect and the mind mastering.
100%.
Which is really cool because you've uncovered that and you've brought it in your unique way, which is what I love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a journey, and the last component is wellness. So wellness for me incorporates ice bath, breath work, hot exposure. Then we've got our yoga, we've got our mobility, we've got our movement kind of practices, things as well. So the entire system is incorporated in what we do at Helix. It is I try to keep it as simple as possible for the client. To get the full benefit, you need to come on the retreats, and the retreats is where a lot of the mindset comes. Some people, they sign up to a gym like mine, and they don't want to sit there and talk about mindset at 5:30 p.m. on a Wednesday night. They want to train, and then they want to get out of there, and then they want to go eat some good food and see their family and whatnot. So a lot of that deep kind of work stuff happens on the retreats, which is fantastic. Obviously, COVID-19 has kicked everyone in the nuts with that, and then we've had to reform, and we're going to come back to that as well. But yeah, movement, mindset, wellness, nutrition is the holistic approach. We've had fantastic results with people that have gone balls deep on it. The problem is marketing it. Is like a lot of people don't know what breath work and meditation and mindfulness is. You can't really market that in an ad, where like the industry at the moment is like 28-day challenge, 6-week challenge, those types of things. People know what that is and they resonate with that, and people know what they know what that is, so they can buy what they know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. I think it is marketable though. I think like from exactly what you were sharing of your observations with your mother, like a lot of people are seeing that in themselves, in their parents, like this widespread of mental illness really. And so people are ready. At the same time, it is a deep dive. So I don't know how to market it, but I do know people are keen and ready, but it's also pretty scary. It's a deep dive, and you got to really persevere. You got to have some balls, you got to have some courage, and you got to dive in deep.
It's not for anyone. The people it's worked best with is those that I've shared my personal story on it with. I think they've connected with that. So, long story short, about 3.5 years ago, my mentor, Keegan Smith, he said to me, if you had a son and he grew up to be just like you, would you be proud? And I was like, holy shit, this guy has literally just like looked me in the eye and said the most deep thing I've ever heard anyone say to me in my life. And I was like, no, I wasn't living to my truth. I wasn't living to my power. I wasn't living to, improve the lives of others. And that was probably the really big changing point in my life. Wow. I came back from that camp. It was probably 4 years ago now. And I said to the girl I was seeing at the time, I was like, you're going to be my girlfriend and we're going to make this serious. Because before that I was fucking about. And ever since then, everything got quite serious. And I, have had the pleasure of impacting, a couple thousand people since that time, since I pulled my finger out and said, this is what we're doing. We're doing a holistic approach and we're going to change some lives.
Amazing. I'm going to flip some of your questions that you gave me back onto you. So you just touched upon it anyway, but so you were asking me, what advice would you give to your younger self? So say you at the beginning of this fitness journey, any advice you would share to the younger, more naive Tim?
I guess just ask for advice. I was so naive where I just thought I knew everything when I knew absolutely nothing. I
Right.
think it's it's called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. It was like initially when you first start, you're like, I know everything there is to know about fitness. And then it goes on a little bit longer. And then you're like, I know absolutely nothing. And then, it goes a little bit further. And you're like, maybe I know a little bit of something. But I literally knew nothing when I first started fitness. And I thought I did. I was going to the gym doing the same program 6 days a week. And I was like, why am I not growing? Why am I not getting stronger? Why am I not getting leaner? That would probably be my advice for anyone listening to this that wants any advice. Just please reach out to me. This is not like I'm wanting to help people as well, not just make a business out of it. So
Sure.
my biggest piece of advice was ask someone that is in a better position to you for their advice. Not better position, but maybe that knows a little bit more, and drop the ego.
Thanks, man. That is huge. That is huge. And I think we should actually pick it apart a bit, because I can identify with that as well. And I think maybe particularly as men, that kind of that fear of being seen that you don't know. I mean, that was thick in my life as well. I even if I didn't know at all, I would just say, yeah, I know. And I was scared shitless of being perceived that I didn't know.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
where
just
are we
an
meant to
absolute
learn
ego
it from?
trip.
Do you know what I mean? Like, where are we meant to learn it from if we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that humility to admit that we don't know, and it's such a huge learning curve. So that's awesome.
Life's changed. I think like as you get to late 20s, now I'm getting to my early 30s, I've taken many knocks where the ego just comes down completely.
Right.
And like, I'm at the point now where it's still like a battle, but I'm 100 times better than I was 10 years ago.
Right. What is one thing people misunderstand about you?
I think on the outside, if you look at my Instagram, actually, I was talking with your brother the other day. It was like, man, just looks like snatches and squats. And like, probably from the outside, you'd be like, this guy's just a fucking meathead, He just lifts weights and he's a bit of a grunt. I don't really talk about the breath work, yoga, meditation, mindfulness. I don't get deep into my thoughts, where there's probably a lot more than meets the eye. And I guess, just taking me for face value and what you see when I feel like I've got a lot of value to give other people and help and mentor and coach.
Yeah, totally. I'm feeling that for sure. 3 people you would invite to dinner, whether they're alive or past.
3 people I would invite to dinner if they were alive or past. It would definitely be my mother's dad. I've never met him, passed a couple of years before. I would love to just pick the brains apart of like Arnold Schwarzenegger, as like cliche and silly as that sounds. I think the man, he's got something. I can't tell what it is. He seems very simple, but obviously he's more complex than we give him credit for. So they would probably be my first 2. And then the third one, like Donald Trump. I would just love to meet him and just see what he's like and his characteristics, mannerisms, and personality. Because this whole like media thing around Donald Trump, I'm like, I don't even know what to believe. I would just love to sit face to face with him and just talk with him about anything, like random stuff.
It would be a trip. What a trippy time we're in. Thank you, brother.
People hate on him, but I'm just like, I can see why they hate him, but he's also like quite interesting.
Well, it's also very polarized in that, because a lot of people that did hate him not long ago now love him. It's a very, very interesting time. So he's a compelling dude, and I don't know what to think, but it would be good to sit down and pick his brain, because what a unique individual.
Yeah, he's good value. Let's put it that way.
Brother Cam was telling me about your German roots and how that really, really provides a foundation for your inspiration. Can you talk a little bit about that? The ethos.
Provides a foundation for my inspiration. Well, I guess I've got immigrant parents. Came to Australia many years ago. I couldn't even tell you when, but it was like school was very hard for me. Like my parents could hardly speak English. So English was obviously terrible for me at school. So going through like primary school and stuff, I was just failing and doing shit merely because of the fact my English was terrible. Got to high school, I was very like underachiever. Year 12, pulled it out of the bag, and then somehow got into uni and smashed it and did 2 degrees. I guess like in terms of the inspiration, it was like in school, everyone was like, you're going to be a dumb tradie. And I think that just kind of stuck with me from when I was 12. And I was like, these motherfuckers say I'm going to be a dumb tradie. I'm going to show them. And ever since then, I got to uni, and my first tutor ever said to me, he says, you're never going to train a professional athlete, Tim, and all you're going to earn is 40K. And I was like, fuck this guy. Like, I'm going to show him as well. So it was like, that was kind of built up. And I guess that was from the German heritage thing. And then, you know, we got out of uni, and then I trained 22 professional soccer players in my own business. Since then, there were like English Premier League, you know, A-League players, like high level athletes. So that was kind of done. And then I'm obviously not a dumb tradie, and, you know, no offense to any tradies out there. I'm not saying anyone's dumb. But I guess like the German kind of work ethic would be one thing. Efficiency, just getting shit done. They're probably like the main German traits, which I would say I've nailed in one way or another. I'm not a perfect entrepreneur by any means, but yeah, I guess they would probably be my main three.
Mm-hmm. And Cam was talking about some of you have like a Ethos Tattoo, and it's even up in the Helix gym. What's going on there? I don't know anything about it, but he did touch upon that.
Cool. So like we've got this tattoo here on my arm. It's called, it says "de Stark." Any like proper German will be like, there's an E missing on the end, but we wanted to misspell it on purpose. So we have four members have the it tattooed on them. On our last Bali retreat, on the final day, some of the boys were like, let's get it. And I was like, fuck, I don't know, man. You want to get my gym logo tattooed on your arm.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's do it. And I was like, fuck it. So they went and got it. And then they were like, Tim, you got to get one. And I was like, I got to get one, you know? So I got it. And it means de Stark. So de Stark means the strong. So the strong is our ethos. So mental, physical, spiritual, all the types of things, like be strong. You are the strength. I also have a tattoo on my chest that says Mittelmaßigkeit ist eine Sünde, which means mediocrity is a sin. So I got that when I was 21. And that was one of, it's a powerful saying to me, just to kind of be average, have more of an impact, and, you know, help more people on their journey.
Thanks, man. Beautiful. Now, you're into your biohacks. You did talk about the cold plunges and whatnot. What are you... Yeah.
Blue blockers, they're on right here.
Blockers. Now, what do you feel is the most potent so far? I mean, possibly like me, you've got a whole panoply of things you dive into, a whole combination. But if one is vibing off what you're doing and they want to like pick a thing to do, what do you feel is a potent biohack to bring into one's life?
Man, I'm like all about the sleep stack supplements. I think they're the best thing ever. So obviously sleep is like the most important biohack. So improving your sleep is fantastic. So anything around improving your sleep is great. I can't give you exact numbers, but the sleep stack is melatonin, magnesium, 5-HTP, and valerian root. So they're my like sleep stack, which I take in combination, sometimes together or not. I try not to go too melatonin-y all the time because I wake up like I've been hit by a car, which is not fantastic. Potent, huh? Yeah, super potent shit. But generally that's my like major supplementation stack. I know some people aren't for sups or against sups. Just making sure I'm reading before bed and not watching TV. I've got those like energy diffusers on all my PowerPoints to stop the bad electricity, and then the blue light blockers as well. So anything around, I know I've given you like 6 things, but anything around the sleep. Anything around enhancing sleep is fantastic. I hate and love the cold plunge. I am an absolute pussy for a German around water, and anything super cold I just can't handle, but just getting my like neck in the water is crazy. We've got a cold plunge at the gym, or a cold bath or whatever, which is usually set to about 1 to 3 degrees. So good for recovery and just turning your male body parts into female body parts.
Yeah, no kidding. But so potent. That's one of my staples as well. I mean, I'm sleep deprived right now, to be honest.
You look fantastic, like Instagram filter.
It's all filters, man. It's this new MacBook. But sleep deprivation, I mean, it's a killer. My wife and I right now are very sleep deprived, and part of our real meditation practice is to also counteract that and to try to remediate that throughout the days. But
how are you doing that?
Well, just almost the equivalent of power naps throughout the day, just
Okay.
like just stopping, unplugging for a moment, closing the eyes for a moment, and trying to catch up, to be honest, because we're
Yeah.
not getting as much as we truly do need, and it catches up.
Man, you're doing a great job. Even like when you're on my podcast the other day, I had so many people message me and they're like, man, that's Stu. He was amazing. And I was like,
That's
fucking
great.
A, like he was.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, man. All these little biohacks, they actually do help so much. Like even the cold plunge, even if I've had 2 hours sleep, I'll get up straight away, jump in that icy cold water, and it's medicine, man. It is
Fires you up way more
so
than a
good.
coffee. Way more than a
Uh-huh.
coffee.
And yeah, good on you for mentioning the blue light blockers. I mean, we need as much of that shit as we can get right now. We are getting drenched in these EMFs big time, and I think it really is fucking people up.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was bullshit, but a friend of mine posted something online. Probably was bullshit. And she was like, she put an egg in a cup next to her Wi-Fi filter and said it cooked.
Wow,
And
for real.
I was like, I know all the studies and research have said that, Wi-Fi is not dangerous and whatever, but fuck, if you think about what that did to an egg, like, and your head is sitting next to it.
Holy shit. And then I give Cam shit quite a bit because I often catch him out with his phone right next to his balls. And
Oh,
come on, dude, at least wait till after you've got kids or something like that.
yeah,
'Cause,
dude.
I mean, apparently there actually is evidence showing that it fucks your balls up.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, my
Mm.
girlfriend does it with her boobs as well. She just puts her like phone like this. I'm like, babe, get the fucking
Yeah.
phone out of there. Like, chuck that thing out.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, it's a killer. There has to be some proof behind it.
Apparently there is. I mean, if you go in down the David Wolf train and the Nadine Arteris train, like apparently there is some pretty solid evidence about this. And like, I mean, you can measure the EMFs that do emit
Mm,
from Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, um, and that's undeniable. But
yeah,
in terms of the evidence showing whether it's negative or just vibes coming out, that's up for debate. But it's out there.
yeah. I guess it
Hmm.
fucks with our own energy, doesn't it? I guess
Yeah.
we are our energy after all.
Hmm. So, what's the future for Helix? Is there Helix 4.0 coming around, or where's that all at?
Yes, Helix 4.0 is coming around. Obviously, taken many, many hits and roadblocks through the COVID-19. If you had a brick and mortar business and still have a brick and mortar business, you're doing pretty good at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think we're putting ourselves in that category. Yeah, during that Corona times, it was tough. We had a 4.0 locked in, and
Yeah.
I had the lease signed, everything done. I'm super thankful that the landlord allowed us out of the lease for the new spot because I would have been, a couple $100,000 in the hole at the time with an uncertain future. I know lockdown was only about 9 weeks or in Perth or something, but yeah, I've been through many ups and downs finding a new spot. We're currently talking if we're going to put an offer in on spot to purchase, which could be happening soon. Other than that, refining the business systems so everything works very smoothly and seamlessly on the back end. But the future of Helix is a kind of mega facility with all the biohacks and the holistic stuff in there. So I'm talking like compression boots, bigger ice baths, sauna, like chill area, like that kind of stuff. And then obviously deck out the gym aspect of things a bit more of a chill spot so we can engage the community and people can foster relationships, things like that. And then just like showers, toilets and that kind of stuff. And then obviously after that is all done, then beef out some form of online program that integrates all of these things rather than just a gym thing. Because there's many like, fuck me, like not another online program, but like something that has a holistic approach and we can somehow do the community thing to people that can't access us. I guess my big vision is like to impact 10,000 people through movement, mindset, wellness, and nutrition. So just conquering that, but you need to be in a very stable position to be able to do that. So getting the gym to a pumping spot is going to be key. It is pumping, but I guess you need to get it more pumping to
Right.
have these big, crazy dreams. I guess like I always had the dream to open up 20, 30, 40 facilities, but I guess the magic is in the people. And if the
Mm.
people are not right, the magic is lost. So finding the right people and learning out how to replicate myself is going to be key, but there's going to be no replication of this weird head.
But it seems like you're building a beautiful community. I really love what you're doing. I love the holistic nature of it. It does seem unique to Perth.
Yeah.
Again, I remember in my PT days, like really craving that and seeing you create that. Like I was starting to see it overseas and was having great experiences, but to see you creating this in Perth, it's really incredible. And it does seem like you're also crafting this really strong, inspiring, like truly holistic community. So maybe it is possible, man.
It is. We'll see what the future holds. I guess I've never really had enough like time of like we had our shit together and had a long enough period to really see like the effects of everything. We got our shit together and then things were like fucking crazy. And then COVID-19 hit. So it's going to be interesting the next few years to see what happens with the world, A, and then the business, B, because we're like, things are going fantastically at the moment after many, many hurdles. All of which were probably induced by me.
No, man, it's a hectic time. It's a hectic time, and we've been pretty fortunate in Perth. I mean, when you compare it to how like New York's been in California and parts of Europe, I mean, we've had it pretty damn good. We've been pretty looked after, haven't we?
I have friends that have gyms in Melbourne, and they've literally been closed for like 6 months. Like they literally have been doing bedroom workouts for like 6 months. I'm like, man, that sucks. We have had it so good here in Perth.
So good.
What the future holds over here, I'm not sure. Maybe Mark McGowan should leave the borders closed, but maybe that's a bit controversial.
It is controversial,
it's
man.
A tough one.
It's a tough one. We can't get out. People can't get in. I mean, it's very interesting because we're blessed and we can almost go about life pre-COVID-19. It seems almost. Yet, I mean, I've got beloved friends trying to get in that are Australian citizens. They're just not allowed in. They got kids here. They're not allowed in. My wife was just trying to take off on a visa trip for her US residency, and she wasn't allowed to leave. So it's quite interesting. Like we're kind of locked on this island, but kind of it seems for the good, yet it's kind of strange as well. I don't know.
Yeah, we're in the world's biggest free range prison, I think. Like it's literally what it's like, I guess. I think there's like North Korea, Western Australia, and China are probably the only places you're locked in the world now. And we're here. I don't know what to make of it. I like try not to get my head caught in the politics because I just get so like down on a rabbit hole. I'm like, what the fuck is the real reason of all this? And what is going on? But I guess we've got to be grateful what we're grateful for and grateful for the positions that we are in, which are health, prosperity, and we can go around our life in a prison.
Yeah, that's right. And if we are in this privileged position, why not focus on the good and spread some magic, spread some inspiration, which it seems you guys are doing really, really beautifully. So
thank you
good
for
work.
the kind words.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at your books behind you, and I'd love to know, like, off the top of your head, the top 3 most inspiring books you've read. If they don't come to you, all good, but if they do, I would love to personally know.
I know the author, Joel Gresham, and it is a business book, and it is about blending spirituality with business systems, and having a proper values mission oriented business, having a life and having business systems. And I can't think of the name right now, but that was super impactful.
What's his name again?
Joel Gresham.
Joel Gresham. Okay.
Gresham. And then the second one would be Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill was probably one of the first self-development books I read when I was about 16. Fantastic book. A million people have read it. It's been like one of the most downloaded books. And then the other one would be by the Brazilian dude. That's super vague. The Brazilian guy, starts with an A. Alchemist.
Okay, The Alchemist. Yeah.
Paulo Coelho. All the books I love are like mindset kind of based self-development style. Some of the business books are fantastic, but The business books, I like prefer to watch in a course or a presentation and like do it. I'm a bit of a doer. So if I like watch something, I want to like implement it straight away. Whereas books can kind of take me on a bit of a journey. And then the latest one I found is fantastic is Systemology by Dave Jenkins, which is just a businessy kind of book. Like, I guess after you've worked out your mission and your values and your mission statement and theme of your business and all that type of stuff, you want to know how to get the thing working really well. So that's where like having fantastic systems is where we're at. So yeah, I'd say they're my top three. Would be Think and Grow Rich, the Joel Gresham one, The Mindful Entrepreneur. That's it. The Mindful Entrepreneur by Joel Gresham, Think and Grow Rich, and The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Nice. Thank you.
That's cool.
What are you vibing off most right now? What's your biggest inspiration right now?
What's your favorite book?
Thank you.
Sorry, man.
No. Thanks for flipping it. Number one would have to be Be Here Now by Ram Dass.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your man.
My man. I mean, I went through a deep Tony Robbins phase. I know you did as well.
What a guy.
So hard to pick one, but there was a pivotal time in my life where when I was transitioning from like PT and bringing in like life coaching stuff, where I was just knees deep in Tony Robbins books. And so it was around that kind of mid 90s to late 90s era of Tony Robbins. And it helped so much. I can't actually think of the particular books, but I was just constantly studying his work then.
Unleash the power within.
Yes, that's up there for sure. And I had like stacks of his CDs, so I was like listening to it, reading to it. It helped so much. Number three, I mean, all of Ram Dass's books for sure, but this one right here, actually, this has been really powerful. Locke Kelly, Shift into Freedom. It's a great one. And his other book, The Way of Effortless Mindfulness. But this one's great. It's really powerful.
I'm loving the contrast between our choices. It's like mine is very like get shit done. Let's learn how to do stuff. And yours is very like stories about mindfulness and health and spirituality and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely had times of like trying to master the business side of things, but it's not where I gravitate to.
Yeah. Okay.
It's definitely not. But I've had periods of it, and then it's back to the mind, back to wellness, and just keep mastering that.
100%. Back on the Tony Robbins thing, I went to the UPW like 3 years ago with Tony Robbins and my girlfriend at the time. Well, same girlfriend now, actually. Lucky girl. But we went there. We were so broken, like could hardly afford to get to Sydney and do all the things. And I look back now and she was like in a job she hates, like, you know, and then Tony Robbins was like that spark to quit the job and start a business, which she eventually went on and sold for a healthy sum, and then is now a business coach, which, awesome. Big thanks to Tony Robbins for like just igniting that spark. And it's funny how many people he's impacted, and he has no idea who we are, but I put a lot of my success down to that man as well.
He's a powerhouse. I love him.
What a weapon.
What a weapon. And I love the most recent documentary on him, I'm Not Your Guru. I really loved how that, because he does actually get a bit of a negative rap in the whole kind of new agey spiritual community as being so focused on money and still that kind of image of him in the early 90s. I don't know if you remember all the infomercials on him and all that.
Nah.
But he was sold hard, you know, in a very mainstreamy way. And people kind of bagged on him for that, you know, as being just ultra polished and ultra salesman-y. But he's a powerhouse, and he's a mystic, and he's just so deep yet powerful. And people tend to kind of throw him under the bus for that. But that documentary just, it really beautifully shined a light on how incredible he actually is. I think they did a great job.
What a man. I remember, watching that was just a power. I was like, baby, you got to watch this documentary, like, to my girlfriend. And that changed a lot for us, actually. It just probably got us into the mindset stuff a little bit more in the NLP.
Yeah, very cool. Now, for people that see like the Helix gym, social media, and all these big heavy lifts and stuff like that, it can be pretty intimidating. And it seems to like, for starters, is it attracting a certain crew that are wanting like peak performance?
I would say no. I
No.
mean, so I don't do any of the Helix social media anymore. One of our
Right.
coaches does it, and that's purposely as well because I would like someone else to, give a spin of the brand and what we're doing and stuff like that. But it definitely does attract people that aren't peak performance and want to be peak performers, and then it does attract peak performers and people that want to get better at peak performing.
Mhm.
So we have all ends of the spectrum. So everyone always thinks that they're like, oh, cool, this gym only trains hot people and, strong people. But, to be honest, we train all sorts from like 16-year-old boys that just want to get a little bit more confidence to 60-year-old women who just want to throw down with the young guys and have a good time. So like, there is no like discrimination between it. We often like have people come in for trials and they're like, this isn't for me. And I'm like, that's cool. If you feel like this isn't for you, that's perfectly fine. When in reality, I know this is probably the thing you need to get yourself out of this fucking slump that you're in, because it's just fear that's stopping people. And a lot of people are just super scared of like, maybe they're more scared of, what could be than what actually won't be, because anyone that comes in, follows the system, does the rules, takes my coaching and takes my advice, will get a result one way or another. So really they have nothing to lose, and we have a money back guarantee. I'm not trying to sell anything, but
I'm sold.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So people that are vibing off what's going on, yet they're feeling a kind of intimidation. They can come in from square one. They don't have to be this kind of Olympic weightlifter having it down
No.
already. They can come in and really start from square one,
Yeah,
right?
if they're willing to learn, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's changeable and caterable. All my
Mm-hmm.
coaches have degrees in exercise science and master's degrees and stuff like that, so they know
Yeah.
what they're doing, and they're all great coaches, and we can cater
Mm-hmm.
anything to anywhere. So we have we've got 35-year-old guys that have never lifted a weight in their life, and they've never seen the inside of a gym, and then we've got the same with older women and
Mm-hmm.
elderly people. So it's, I can understand from the outside, you see the loud music and the drum and bass and everyone's having a good time and everyone's fit and hot, but like we try to put the not as fit and hot people on there as well. So like
Right.
it's not like we're not trying to just discriminate.
Yeah. And it is cool. I mean, it's changed over the last decade or whatever, the you could say almost fad of women getting into strength training.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, it was really hard to convince women to lift a weight and do some strength training. And now it seems to almost be a fad. It's pretty popular. Really
Yeah.
cool to see that shift.
Super popular. We've like, especially with the younger generation at the moment, there's just like less fear. I've got 20-year-old girls that are 50 kilos, putting 50 kilos over their head and, looking good doing it and doing it for reps. And it's just like fantastic to see
Mm-hmm.
the empowerment aspect of it. Not just alone the strength. It's like, cool, I can master this thing. What else can I do? And I guess that's what it's about. And especially even with our older women as well, it's like showing them that they do have the strength to do whatever they want to, and not just, like pump a chest press at the gym and, do all that pull down and stuff like that. Just do functional shit that actually takes some skill to do.
Yeah, it is super empowering. It's great to see. Have you gone into the work of Ken Wilber at all?
I've heard the name.
Hmm.
Refresh me. Is this
So
mindset?
I mean, you'd love it. I mean, he is quite a genius, really, and it's been mainly about mind mastery, but a big like pillar of that has been strength training, and
Mm.
he's got great evidence of how strength training can really help us master the mind and create neuroplasticity and open up the pathways of the mind.
I love it. It's super interesting that like 17% of Australia has a gym membership, according to the latest stats. But then of that 17%, what are the actual stats of people using it? And then of that percentage of people, what are the people that are actually getting results? And then you start to think, cool, maybe this like strength and conditioning thing is a bit of a unicorn. Because I always think like, man, everyone's doing strength and conditioning. And then I actually realized that on those statistics alone, a lot of people aren't doing strength and conditioning. And then they're missing the full, like, I know I'm very biased towards strength and conditioning, and I've just realized that when I said it, but like they're missing the full plethora of benefits that does come with, getting strong and being your best self.
Yeah. It's, I don't know how you deal with it, or do you witness it? I touched upon it a bit in our podcast together on your platform. But since then, I've actually been into a gym around the corner, Gold's Gym here in Fremantle. And it had been a while since I'd been in a gym.
Mm.
And it was pretty overwhelming, the amount of people. Like, I mean, I'm not talking just 5 minutes in between sets, like a long, like at least 10 minutes, just shitty posture, kind of slumped over on their phone. And I was pretty overwhelmed. I was pretty overwhelmed at just peripheral awareness of like, holy shit, it's not just one person, two people. It's like most people in the gym right now
Just hanging out on their phone.
just hanging out on their phone. So do
Yeah.
you see that, and how do you deal with it?
Man, I call commercial gyms zoos because
Right.
there is so much going on in there, and it's just, yeah, it's probably not a good. Well, it is an accurate representation of what's going on in society in terms of like people training, but yeah, I don't agree with that personally. Like in our gym, it's like unless you're putting in your sets and reps or recording something for Instagram, like just put your phone away and connect with people face to face like we did in the old times before phones. We don't really have any of those sit down machines where you can just sit there and punch away on your phone and do what you're going to do. But yeah, I guess it's like maybe we've just, some people have lost their ability to communicate, and maybe it's a shyness thing. Maybe they don't know where to look. Maybe they don't want to make eye contact. Maybe they need to come to your event on Friday night and practice some eye gazing, not ice gazing, eye gazing with their fellow brother and sister
Yes.
to get themselves comfortable with what the real world is actually showing us.
Right. It's true, man. It's true. And we did talk about it last time, but I think it's also so fucking addictive, which is undeniable now.
Yeah.
But I think the seduction of the phone is more, yeah, again, seducing than that next set or whatever. It's very confusing, but very little conversations going on face to face, a lot of phone time, and it is interesting times on that front.
I did delete Facebook, the app, off my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can only upload on the desktop, which is great for business. And then I put a time limit on Instagram, but then I realized my team in the Philippines that handle all my admin work, they're also on social media, and they contact me that way. So that was a bit of a pain in the ass, but I am consciously trying to limit my screen time that way, which has been fantastic for my relationships, I guess, and friendships. But yeah, like, I don't know. There has to be a better way to do some of this stuff. And I don't know, maybe we're biased because we've seen the other side and what is possible and the potential of it. But yeah, this is just my mindset, just going back and forth with playing devil's advocate for this.
No, it's good. It's good. Good to question things, and good to discern. Because if we just do what has been normalized, I don't know if it's the optimum way. It doesn't seem to be. And you were talking about sleep being one of your main priorities for wellness. The phone is also fucking with people's sleep. People, that addiction to the phone is preventing a lot of people from just dropping into a proper sleep.
100%. So I've got actually, I was listening to, what is his name, Andy from Blue Blocks, and he was giving a lecture on light. So every time a blue light or an artificial light hits your retina, it resets your circadian rhythm. So let's say you were like trying to go to sleep. It's 10 p.m., 11 p.m. or whatever, and then you go and check your phone light. You've just reset your circadian rhythm, and your body just thinks it's back to daylight now. So it completely fucks it up. So as soon as I take my blue light blocking glasses off at night, I literally, when I go to the toilet, I keep my eyes closed and feel my way around the house just in case there is like any type of light on, because I don't want to reset the circadian rhythm. That's how strict I've got with it.
Yeah, same, man. Even to the point of like the fridge, that fridge light. I mean, that's a bright white light. It's got to be emitting a shitload of blue light, and
that thing will mess you up.
And it's to do with the brightness, not so much the duration. But yeah, I've heard that as well, and I've been extra discerning with it too. Even when the phone's on nighttime mode, it still feels like it throws things off, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I don't look at it at all without my glasses on.
Yeah. At the same time, do you feel like being this informed of the best things to do, do you find that you then become, maybe paranoid's not the word, but almost like paranoid of the blue light, paranoid of the EMFs, or have you found a pretty good balance where you just do it and get on with your day?
Yeah, I just do it and get on with my day.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it too much. I had to go to the casino last week for like a family dinner, which was there, and it was really weird walking through the casino because I just don't hang out there. It's just not my thing. And I was wearing my blue light blockers in public at nighttime in like a social, and like people were just like, they would double take at me and they were like, what the fuck is he wearing on his eyes? And for me, it was so normal just to wear even out in public, but to other people, I must just look like an alien.
Especially with the red
glasses.
lenses too.
Yeah, red lenses would just look like an absolute creep. My family used to like question it, and they would say, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing all this shit for? But I guess it's just become such a normalcy for me. I try to be the leader with everything. So leader to the community and leader to others around me to live better and live healthier.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, touching upon that a bit, actually, before we gradually wrap this up, as you have delved into this full holistic way of life improvement, have you been pulled up from your family, from old friends and all of that?
Yeah, there was a time 4 to 5 years ago where I was heavily into partying, and I was, one of the main culprits in our circle of friends of being a party starter. And then I slowly had to drift away from that to obviously live a healthier life. And yeah, people were pissed. Like, people were not happy about it. Things changed, and when there's change with humans, they don't like it. So I had to pull myself out of that, and yeah, it was a tough time personally. And I could imagine people trying to better themselves. There are always going to be people that are dragging them down in one way or another because they don't like change. And at the end of the day, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with most. So choosing those 5 people is got to be a wise choice. And I went through like a lot of isolation through that period where like I didn't feel like I could hang out with anyone because no one got it and no one was on the same wavelength, until we've kind of got to where we are now, where I've got, 5 to 10 people around me that kind of get it all. And, I can talk to you freely about anything and you're going to completely understand. But, if I go talk to some people outside of the gym that I used to hang out with about, what I'm doing day to day, they'll probably think of, wearing a tinfoil hat and have lost the plot.
Yeah. It's actually really important that we touch upon that, because I hear it a lot. I hear it a lot with not even younger people, but just people kind of starting big changes in their life, a feeling of loneliness, of like, I've lost all my people and I feel lonely. I haven't found my right people yet. And I remember that as well. I remember when I could feel in my body the burnout and just a new lease on life as well. And I had to stop the intense partying, had to stop seeing particular friends. And it was also a challenging time. So the people out there that can relate to that, can you speak to that predicament? What helped you find your people?
What helped me find my people was my business, I guess. A lot of my friends came from that and they were attracted to the holistic nature. In terms of like, actually, I just had to cop it and just be like, cool, this is the way it is, until I can find people to hang out with. And I guess in terms of like, we had a client of mine, he actually moved over from Sydney and he was into all this biohacking. And then one day he showed up at the gym and it was probably like the easiest client acquisition I've ever got, because he was just like fully on board with every single thing and he found his people. So it was like a seamless transition. But yeah, like in terms of advice to people looking for their people, I guess you've kind of got to
go to Helix.
No, not go to Helix, but you got to find somewhere that resonates with you.
Yeah.
Because I do understand Helix is not for everyone. Like, unless you like slamming drum and bass and crazy loud music and high vibes and yelling people and, all cool stuff like that. But, it's not for everyone. What do you reckon, Stu?
Well, I actually have a very nostalgic appreciation for drum and bass, and probably
my man.
Yeah, I love drum and bass, and not every day, but it changes. But at least, like, I'll go through a period at least a couple times a month where I just pound the drum and bass, and whether it's for an intense workout, because I do love strength training. Actually, I find it very beneficial, or like a jog. I think, even with yogis, we can find our kind of groove and our go-to, and sometimes not truly be holistic in the way we're treating the body. So I was finding that in myself to counteract all the burnout that I was experiencing from not training optimally. I then went more into just relaxation, just more like yin style yoga. And for that period of time, no drum and bass, none of the old heavy metal, no drum and bass, just very tranquil. But then when I got my body on track and kind of healed the adrenal fatigue, I could then start to handle again the drum and bass and the pounding around and smashing it a bit more. But I definitely needed some downtime from that high intensity, you know?
Man, what a vibe. Have you ever done yoga to drum and bass? Have you ever taught a class to it? Like, that'd be pretty interesting.
Every now and then
Put a little beat on.
I'll bring in a particular, not like full drum and bass, but kind of like a 90s drum and bass. They got a little like a little kind of darker and not quite as frantic.
Yeah.
Quite hard to describe, but there was a particular sound of like 90s drum and bass that is kind of puts you into quite a meditative state, you know?
Nice. You have to drop a beat for me tomorrow night.
Yeah. We'll share some drum and bass tunes because I've got a bit of a playlist going on Spotify. You might appreciate it.
If you don't know what drum and bass is, you have to get around. It's a specific, it's very, either you love it or you hate it.
Right. So being current with it, is it still a genre of today's age, or has it kind of died off?
It is a genre, especially in Perth. Perth is the second most populous drum and bass city in the world besides London.
Right.
Yeah. So there was like literally you've got all the headline artists around the world, like the big ones, and they all just want to come here in Perth to perform because people just go nuts for it. So yeah, we've got like a lot of people at the gym that love it, which is fantastic. And if they don't love it, they will eventually because they're just going to hear it all day.
Dude, I got to get to Helix. I mean, Cam mentioned the drum and bass thing, but I didn't know it was quite that dedicated.
Yeah, 100%. That's all we play.
Awesome, man. Well, let's wrap this up. Is there anything else you want to let the listeners know? Anything coming up or any, whatever comes to mind.
As Stuart mentioned before, he jumped on my podcast. We just had a season 2 launch, which is called The Muscle Hustlers. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down and you're liking what I'm saying, jump on over, listen to some episodes. I've had some huge guests on for first 5 episodes of season 2, and there'll be a bit more talking with Tim and friends coming up, which is, I've got a few podcasts penciled in tomorrow. So other than that, jump on over my Instagram at Tim Frey, 2 underscores on the end of them. And if the gym is sounding enthralling and you love drum and bass and you want to get strong, then check out at Helix Gym on Instagram, and one of our team members will answer any questions you have about that. And thanks so much for having me, Stu. This was fun.
Pleasure, Tim.
I'm sure anyone is going to get some nuggets from that.
Yeah, super inspiring. Love your work, and I'll see you tomorrow night for some eye gazing and some dancing.
Man, let's look into each other's eyes. Can't wait.
Yeah, brother. All right. Until next time. See you soon, my man.